Hello and welcome to the Jump Show with me, Dampsam, the most straightforward talking, down-to-earth, qualified damp expert, surveyor, whatever you want to call it, in the UK, in Britain. And I've got another rising damp video. It's had 300,000 views, which is phenomenal. And it's from Damp Proofing a Wall, Rising Damp, House Renovations UK, and it's Mr. Mark Hepp. I've not seen the video. I'm going to watch it. This is a reaction video, and it's not to take mick out at anybody, although there might be a few swear words, choice words from me. Let's get on with the show. Here we go. Over to you, Mark.
Morning, guys. So this job, we've got a bit of damp proofing to do. We've got some damp on a bay window to sort out.
Sounds like he's northern. Fucking hell. He'll be coming round and sorting me out, this cunt.
So we're going to be using the dry zone.
Yep.
They do this gun, but you can also get it to fit in your normal gun.
Applicator, mate. It's an applicator.
You don't have to buy this one. You can just get like silicone cartridges with this stuff in.
All I'll say is this: why don't you use a silicone cartridge though? Try and put it in something that it's not made for it. It'll end up all over, Mark.
So you can do it that way. But I've only used this stuff. I've used it 4 times so far, and it's.
Is that all? 4 times? Is this an experiment then, Mark?
And it's worked. So I don't do it often.
Let's have a look at the jobs that you've used it on.
I don't do it often, but we'll show you how I get on and do it.
Fucking hell, I'm gonna like this. Come on then, Mark.
I mean, we've done it 4 times and it's worked, so
Fingers crossed.
it should work this time.
Hopefully.
So what we're going to do is we'll have to get the get all plaster off and everything. Have a look at that. There's some wallpaper on. We'll get that off. We'll have a look, and we're going to be doing it over a few days while we do some other jobs.
I think you should know what you're gonna. You shouldn't be having a look once you've got wallpaper off. Although I do that on a few jobs, but a lot of the time I'll have an idea what it is. All I say is just make sure that you're treating the correct method, the correct cause of dampness and the correct type of dampness. So not all damp is rising, Mark. You should know that. And especially this time of year, and I ought to have looked at when it was, but it just weather looks all right out there. Let's have a look.
Some other jobs around house, so we'll give it time to dry and everything in between doing it.
What are you giving time to dry? I don't know.
And then we'll drill holes, pump this in, and we'll plasterboard it. Right, see you in a bit. So this is
Seeing a threepenny bit.
the back of it. You can see it on patch up wall.
Oh, Mark. Right. So my first thoughts on this is it's a bay window. Now I don't know what type of floor it is. A lot of times with these constructions, you tend to have a timber floor. You've 2 patches in corner there. Rising damp, you've normally got like a salt band or begins at a salt band for rising damp. Does look a bit dark in corner. Is it a cold spot? Is it condensation forming? With it having a bay window, has this property got a physical damp course built in? I'd like to see it from.
I cut skirtings off as well.
There's a bit of black mould behind there. It is wet. It is wet.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So
it is a sand and cement render that's on. So it makes me think that that's been done before. That has probably been. Somebody's had a go at damp proofing that before.
we'll have to get all this off. Because below skirtings, obviously, but we're going to have to take skirtings off and re-put them on as well.
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
Again, I'm sure that's black mould that were behind there, which makes me think that condensation's formed at back of there. Just my initial thoughts.
See you in a bit when we get it all off.
See you for a bit, Mark. Come on, lad. get stuck in. Oh, Mark, just to give you a tip, mate. If you're gonna be trying to hammer a crowbar or something else, use a lump hammer. You'll end up, if you use a claw hammer or like that, you have a chance that you're going to get splinters in your eye, metal splinters. Use a lump hammer, pal. And there's a way to get them skirtings off without splitting it. So what you do is it's split where it had been screwed into the wall. So if you can get your crowbar, find out where your screw is and break down behind it, and then as soon as you feel that it hits that screw, you get some big smacks and the screw will pop. It pops back out at wall. That's just through years of experience, and you would have been able to put that skirting back on because it don't look as if it is rising damp, my lad. So you got that one off good, didn't you?
It's all rotted.
Let's have a look then.
So, new skirtings.
Yeah, that one looked like rotten. Yeah. Is there any black mould behind there, pal? No, but you can see a bit of a mark there. See, I'd have started at bottom. And worked my way up. You need to be going all the way back to brickwork.
We've drilled these holes every half brick, so in between them, and every half.
That definitely looks like a timber floor. It definitely looks like a timber floor to me. Like.
Between them and every half. So every half you want to do it across it, and then you only want to be drilling 90mm into hole, because you start drilling any further than that, this has got a cavity, this one. So if you drill all the way, you just end up filling cavity up and wasting your stuff. But it don't matter if odd one comes out, you just got to pull it out slowly and make sure you fill it all.
Backfill it, Mark. You backfill it. So you put it in and then you backfill it. I think we got, if it's a single brick or half brick or whatever, before it goes into cavity, I think we do it at something like 80mm. So you drill it to 20mm off at far side at brick.
Make sure you fill it all.
Fucking hell, Mark, it's going all over. Costing you a fortune, that. That's it. So you drill every perpendicular, and if you end up with a run where there's no perp, so if they've laid a brick there, then you just go in middle, and that's a good height. That's is 150, well over 150 off the ground to avoid rainwater splashback. I'm just looking at this bit. See, I'd like to know whether this has got a physical damp course in it. But ground levels have been raised over time, you can tell. It's put a little marker there, look. It's put a little marker there to go into brick. But what happens is, every time you drill it, it shoves it back even further. Ground level's definitely been raised over time because they've put these flags down, and I think
for this area, we're nearly out of this one, so we're looking at 2 tubes for this.
I think they do about, they used to do
about
6 metres. 6 lineal metres, I think it does. This must be an old one. This, what did he say, 20 quid a tube?
And then you can paint your cream on there.
Good lad.
The dry zone cream on the inside as well, stop the damp.
Salt neutralising cream.
Or you can also use bitumen as well.
Don't use bitumen.
If you want. If it's really
Never
hard.
use bitumen. Don't use bitumen. People.
But this isn't too
You need
bad, so.
water vapour to be able to
This
go
has had
through
like
fabric.
4 days of drying out, and it's pretty dry now. You can see it's dry.
it didn't look that wet to start with, Mark. To tell you the truth, it was a bit wet in corner, but
You just need one coat of this. But I've done it without putting this cream on, and it still worked fine. So
yeah, that's a good
just
point.
with the injected bit.
It's a good point. I think it can work without putting that on, especially if there's no salts, Mark. So it's called salt neutralizing cream for a reason, and that's usually when you're doing a job that's got rising damp. You'll have salts in your wall, and this cream is to stop salts in your wall. But what it also does is it helps the dry grip adhere to the masonry a bit better as well. So I use it anyway. So I stick it on it, and when you're brushing it, it gets rid of all debris. So if there's any dust and that still on your wall, this brushing action and putting this salt neutralizing cream gets rid of that debris off. So if you did put it onto a if you did stick your plasterboard on a wall that's not had this on, there's a chance that some dots might not stick properly because you've got that dust. Just a chance. It goes on lovely as well, doesn't it, Mark?
So that's it. We've got the cream on now, and what we're going to do is we're going to leave that a couple of days. But actually, it doesn't take that.
Just looking down here, it looks like it's still got some shit here. So what I'd have done, if this were my job, I wouldn't have left underlay down. I'd have took gripper rods up, and I'd have took that up, because what happens is it's like it's happened here. It's still got all dust and shit in here behind gripper rods because it's hard to get it out. So first thing we do is we pull carpet right back, and then if we were doing this area, we'd take gripper rods up. It's just some right messing about leaving these down. A nightmare.
It won't take that long to dry, so you could probably do it next day. But seeing as though
I've left it a full day and we've had no issues. But in Safeguard's instructions, they say to stick your boards on after an hour. So just leave it half an hour and not leave it overnight. But I've left it overnight.
We've got other jobs to get on with. We're going to make sure it dries properly and give it a couple of days.
There's no need to it's why it's called express damp system, Mark. It means you can do it quick. But yeah, I do understand you've got other jobs to go to, pal.
And then we'll plasterboard it.
Yep.
So we're using foam to put boards on, because the foam's actually waterproof.
That's a good idea. It is. Depending on foam that you use, polyurethane is waterproof. You've got open cell and closed cell foam. If it's a closed cell foam, it is waterproof. It would be waterproof enough to do this. But your problem is you don't want to use expanding foam on this. Part of the system is salt neutralizer, dry zone cream, and dry grip. I added Instastick so that it would dry quick. I don't know. I've not seen this before, and I don't know how quick this cures. But the reason that I added Instastick was because it cures in like 5 minutes. It sticks wood to all, whereas dry grip takes around about 20 minutes for it to grab, and you can't be waiting 20 minutes. So let's see what he has to say about this foam, because it does look like expanding foam, that, which will push the board off the wall.
So it's not going to let water in, it'll take board off wall a little bit.
It will.
You can use
a fucking lottle bit, not a little bit, a lottle bit.
Plasterboard. You can use the acrylic adhesive as well, which does the
dry grip, Mark. It's called dry grip. So it looks as though he's using an adhesive that's specially made for sticking boards. There's quite a few on market. And this is how they tell you to do it. So they tell you to put it all around edge, and then sort of spray it like that. We just put dots on, holds it just as good. But they are brilliant systems. And and it doesn't. I thought it were expanded foam, but this it does have some expansion, but it doesn't have loads. So if he props it, then it should be okay. I'm surprised that I'm surprised he's not having to sprag them boards though, because if there is some expansion, he'd be better off just keeping it against wall.
So I've got that on. I've just put a little nail in there and a couple in that end just to hold it while it's set.
Yeah. So what I'd advise is with safeguard system, they do come with some discs that you can drill through and then just tap in to hold it in position. I've never used them because that's some rate messing about. When you first put that foam on, this is why you need dry grip, because when you put that foam on, I think you're supposed to leave it 5 or 10 minutes for it to get quite substantial before you put it onto the wall. But it being like piss thin when you first put it on, if you put it against wall, it just pushes board straight against wall, and if it moves back a bit, then there's a gap. So what I'd say is get some props, builder's props, and just sprag them. Have a look at my videos and you'll be able to see builder's props that we use. But I'd definitely say use dry grip. This system you can use, but just buy it rate stuff. Get dry grip.
Sets. Well, that should go off in about, I think it goes off pretty quick. I don't know when. Is it 10 minutes or something? Let's have a look. This is about an hour.
Is it 10 minutes or something? Oh, about an hour. Go get a bacon sarnie, pal.
Before it goes off. So we'll leave that. And it should be set in an hour.
See, what we do is we foam bottom. So if it is a timber floor, I've just got a funny feeling there'll be a gap from timber floor to wall, and there'll be cold air coming up that gap, and I think that might have been part of the issue.
So that's it. I even had a bash of the wallpaper in.
Well done.
So we've finally got it on. Bit of a struggle and a tow.
He's made a good job of that. Mark's made a good job of that, especially if he's done wallpaper and all. What struggle and tow? I don't know what struggle and tow.
Put new skirtings on, but yeah, we're filming the other job, the bathroom job that I showed you last week. So we're in and out. Couldn't really film much of this because I were in and out that much. But yeah, it's all done. We've got it sorted. You get the gist of it with the damp proofing and what have you.
Yeah, get a specialist in.
I'll see you later, guys.
So there you go. That were Mark Epp. I hope you enjoyed the video. Me commenting on it and pointing people in the right direction. Finished job, looks well. I don't know how much he charged them. Don't know whether it was rising damp that were actually affecting that wall. Didn't look like it to me. It looked like could have been a cold spot or something. You've got them windowsills as well dripping over any damp course or whatever. But it's fixed that little bit of damp that were in corner. Whether it could have been done different, we don't know. Biggest cause of arguments and disruption in our industry is misdiagnosis. So always go and find a damp specialist, a PCA qualified, competent damp specialist, surveyor, to look at what damp issues you've got, because not all damp is rising. There's different types of damp, from condensation, lateral damp, sulfate salts, leaks from pipes, penetrating damp. There's a host of different types of damp, and if it's not diagnosed correctly, you get people saying, let's just knock it off 1.2 metre high. and drill and inject it at bottom, when a lot of times it might not need it. I'm not saying this didn't, because I'm only commenting on what I've seen on video, and it looks like he's made a good job at finish, and he's showing people these different ways to get these boards on wall. But for me, you need to use dry grip with possibly some dots of that stuff that is used as well, and sprag your boards. But his finished job looks good, and he's got plenty of views on his video. So well done, Mark, but leave it to experts. You know what I mean? Do work, but leave diagnosis to experts. If you want to join our Facebook group, why is my property Dampsam? You can send me videos, you can send me pictures, and we'll point you in the right direction. So we'll kind of tell you what you might have, you know what I mean, from patterns of damp. We can always point you in the right direction. So anybody out there that wants a bit of advice, go onto our Facebook group, and it's a damp community. There's plenty of people in there who can point you in the right direction, and you might even get me commenting on it. All right, hope you've enjoyed it, and it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye now.